Yeah, I had a dog on my lap that wasn't too excited about getting off of my lap, so I could come up here. And now I have kitties that are just being incredibly cute. So I'm a little distracted. It happens. All right, okay. I guess we're good, right? All right. So as I promised, we'll start down in child's pose, which is a weird place to start. I haven't gone down there. Hey, Ty. Thanks for thanks for coming over. So child's pose is a weird place to start because we typically think about it as a resting pose, but it also can be one of those places that you're really able to drown it all out. Maybe that's not the best phrase, but just to kind of come inward. Right? So let everything else go for the day, kind of prep yourself for your yoga practice. So it can work. But because it is first, a lot of times it's too much, or it doesn't feel good necessarily. So when you're there, I'm just going to use this for quick access. And you don't have to go and buy props, right? Stuff that you have around the house works. So in this case, I'm just going to use this pillow as a bolster. You can get the fancy bolsters and lay over them, and some are really big and some are really soft, or you can use a foam roller. I mean, whatever. Right? Sometimes putting a rolled up towel or washcloth or whatever underneath your ankles feels better than to have them flat against the floor. Right? Sometimes it's that your hips have to sit a little bit forward, and so what, fine. Right? So just try to find a place that you are not uncomfortable in this first child's pose. So again, maybe just kind of laying over this pillow to have something to rest into. I'm going to recommend keeping your head in alignment, right, rather than turning your face. But if it feels good and it doesn't seem to bother you, feel free to do what your body is telling you to do. So coming to this comfortable child's pose, go ahead and just sink into it, right? Release into your bolster or your pillow or whatever you got. Right? Make your head comfortable. You can always stack your fist to rest your forehead or use a block, right? Again, just don't worry about being fancy, worry about being comfortable. And then even maybe with your arms extended, it blocks your ears a little bit and really lets you, like I say, just draw inward. So let yourself be here. Notice where maybe you're not super comfortable. And if you can adjust, go ahead and adjust. Or just be aware that you're not ultra comfortable, right? We're not trying to go to sleep. And as long as it's not painful, it's fine. And as you draw your awareness inward, and we start focusing on our breath here, maybe you're noticing how your belly expands against your legs. Feel that? So feeling your breath in this different way, right? Normally we feel the belly expand while it doesn't have anything to touch, and here it's touching something. So that's weird and different a little bit. Turning that normal breath into a yoga breath. And as I say, we love to breathe into the belly, so this is a really good way to get some feedback as to whether you're actually breathing into your belly. So taking just a couple more breaths here. We want to kind of keep the mind in this place, maybe keep your eyes closed. And then just gently make your way up into an all fours. Just moving any props you have aside. Finding an all fours, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. And see if you can do that with your eyes closed. Just kind of feeling where the body is rather than having to look. And it's okay to look. Just see if you can find that place without necessarily looking. And then let's go ahead and begin movement. On an inhale, drop the belly toward the floor. And with the exhale, round the spine toward the ceiling. So just a little bit of cat-cow. And go easy. Again, it's really early. Let's do one more flow. And then just find a middle. With that neutral spine here, go ahead and just lift your toes up and let's bring the toes together. Here, we're going to take the feet over to the left. Try and keep your big toes together. And then look over towards your feet. And then come back to the middle and switch over to the other side, right? So the feet go to the right. We look over that right shoulder, looking for the feet. And you're going to follow your breath with that. So exhaling as you turn to the left. Inhaling center. Exhale and look over to the right. And back to center. Take a couple more flows like that. And just see if you can really kind of feel the squeeze on the left side body here. And then the stretch on the opposite side. Yeah. One more time on each side. And then come on back to center. From here, go ahead and extend the right leg straight back. Pressing through the heel, making the belly work. Let's extend the left arm forward. Nice long line. And then release that side. Switching to the second side, so left leg and right arm. Releasing back to the middle. Let's go back to that first side again here. So I'm just turning. Extending the right leg and left arm. And then keep the idea of reaching away from the body here. We're taking the arm over to the left. Go ahead and bring the leg around to the right. Take the hand to the floor. Take the toes over to the side here. And then come on up on the knee. As always, if you need to cushion your knee, cushion your knee. So ankle or heel really in line with the hip. We're going to take that left arm up and over. Getting a way bigger stretch up this left side. But even on the right, see if you can feel less squished, right? So that there's length. One more big breath. We're going to come on back up again and release the hands to the floor. Lift the right leg, but then just hold. Try not to lean a whole bunch over to the left. It makes it too easy, right? So stay home centered, you can stay. And don't worry about high with the leg, yeah? Go ahead and take it back and then down to the floor on all fours. So second side with that, extend the left leg and the right arm. Keep the idea of stretching away from the body and take it out to the sides. Release your hands, take the toes over to the floor, and come up on the left knee. Sorry, right knee. Reach the right arm up and over. One more nice big breath. And then come on up to the top again. Release the hands. Lifting the leg and just simply holding it out there. Take it back and then down again. One more here on the hands and knees. Switch it up a little bit this time though. We're going to extend the right leg again. This time bend the knee. Lean to the left just enough that you can lift your right hand up off the floor. And when you can, reach back and see if you can find your foot. So working with your balance, whether you find the foot or not, or how big your quad stretch is, whatever, right? Maybe see if you can square your hips up toward the floor a little bit. You can kick the foot in the hand, maybe lift the toes. Tons of sensation and work going on here, so just go with what you got. One more breath wherever you are. And we're going to release that side. Oops. Moving to the second side. Left leg, bending at the knee. And then leaning enough to lift the left hand and maybe find your foot. Working with your balance, finding the stretch, whether it's more in your quad or your shoulder. Think about your right hand. Make sure you're not dumping into the wrist. Another big breath. And then gently release what you got here back into that all fours. So go ahead and sit back into child's pose again. Prop up if you want to, certainly. And just notice how different it feels already. Hardly done anything yet. But it probably feels a little different than where we started. So let's go ahead and lift up into it, down dog. Okay. Let yourself wiggle, stretch, bicycle your heels. Shift back and forth, maybe through planks and down dogs. And then we'll go ahead and settle back into that. So dropping the heels toward the floor. Remember, they don't have to touch. Pressing the chest back, letting your head just hang. From here, step the left foot forward for lunge. Go ahead and drop the back knee. Making sure the knee and ankle align. Yeah. Let's slowly take that left leg straight. Straight fish. Prop here if you need to prop, of course. Try not to round the spine over the leg. Just let the fold be what it is. And then let's go ahead and bend back into the knee. Let the hips come low. Leave the right hand where it is. Bring the left hand to the hip. And let's go ahead and twist. Rotating the belly. Think about turning your side ribs, that shoulder maybe. And then hug to the middle. So we don't want the shoulder and knee touching each other, but we don't want them slinging out to either side of the mat either. Okay, so find the middle. Again, the middle. My goodness. Release your twist and take the leg straight again. See if you can find a little bit deeper stretch in that hamstring. Bend back into the knee. Let's twist the opposite way this time. So bring your left hand to the inside of your foot, right hand to the hip, and rotate the belly away from the thigh. Try to keep your hips square. So the idea of pulling your legs toward each other will help. And then release your twist. From here, we'll step back to our down dog. And we're going to go the second side. So step the right foot forward. The ankle alignment here. And when you are ready, take the right leg straight. Same thing on this side. Just find your stretch. Maybe the leg can't be quite straight. Maybe you need to prop here. What is your story? Bend into the knee. And bring the right hand to the hip, rotating toward the thigh. Squeeze into the middle here. Releasing that twist. Take your leg straight again. You move a little deeper into the fold. Or maybe it's just a matter of being able to draw your shoulders closer together on your back rather than rounding a little. Yeah. It's not all about taking the leg straight. Lots of stuff going on. Go ahead and bend back into the knee. Bring the right hand to the inside and the left hand to the hip. Rotate. Release your twist. And we will make our way back into that down dog. So in our down dog here, keep everything else exactly as you have it, and we're just gonna lift the right leg. Straight back. Press through the heel, both heels. And then release that side. Switching, lift the left. release that side. So let's go back to the right side, lifting that. Keep it lifted. Make sure your belly is engaged here. Everything else stays the same, but we're going to shift forward into a three-legged plank and hold. The right toes don't have to be high. In fact, sometimes if they go too high, the hip lifts and we don't want that. Back to three-legged dog. And release the right foot. Same idea to the second side. Lift the left. Shift forward, three-legged plank. Hold, breathe. That right knee can come to the floor if it needs to. Back to your three-legged dog. And release the toes. All the way down into child's pose. And then back down up. Let's go ahead and walk the feet up to the hands, come into a standing fold. Feet hip bone distance apart. And let's just let ourselves hang here. So maybe you're going to bend in the knees. Grab opposite elbow. Let your head go. And then releasing that, take the feet a step wider. The toes are still going to point forward. They're a little wider than your hips. You can still have a bend in the knees here if you like. We're just going to take the hands and walk them over to the right. And don't worry about what you touch. The floor, your toes, your shin, whatever, doesn't matter. And again, even the knees can be bent, so whatever. Let the body weight just sort of lean over to the right. And then we're going to walk over to the left and lean over to the left. So you're still kind of in that loose, relaxed thing. Let's go back to center. And take the feet one step wider. That can be one step for each foot, one step for one foot, whatever. Toes are going to point forward. This time here, take your legs straight, and if you don't touch the floor, so what? Maybe you're using a block, maybe you want to prop up on the shins. Doesn't matter. We want the shoulders together on the back, so we're making this a little bit more aligned. But we're going to do the same thing with the upper body. Walk over to the right. This time, if you find your knees bend or you're leaning, come back to center with the lower body. And then back to the middle and over to the left. Back to center again. One step wider. And when it's enough though, right? We're taking the fingers and we're going to interlace the behind the lower back. Pull the shoulder blades together on the back and stretch the knuckles away from the shoulders. Shoulders away from the ears. Don't worry about how deep your fold is. Keep focused on those shoulders. Releasing the hands. Take the feet one step wider. And you may need to still adjust a little bit here. Feel free to make those adjustments. Instead of having your toes point forward though, go ahead and turn them out to the corners a little. With your breath here, On an exhale, bend your right knee, shift over to the right. Inhale back to the middle, and then exhale over to the left. All right, so we're moving side to side like that. When we bend the right knee, we want to make sure the knee does not come forward of the toes, and the knee is pointing in the same direction as the toes. Yeah? And then switching to the left, same idea. So you may need to adjust your feet, turn your toes in, out, whatever. Just kind of watch and see where your body goes. And you can be leaning on your hands as much or as little as you like. If it feels natural on the straight leg, you can flip your toes up toward the ceiling. Right? Sometimes that makes more sense. Sometimes not. Once more on each side. When you're back to center, let's go ahead and walk the feet back in. Bring them up underneath the hip bones. Hands up to the thighs. And bring your upper body parallel to the floor. So 90-degree bend-ish in the hip, hanging onto the legs as much or as little as you need. Bend into the knees, come into chair. And again here, the hands can be supporting. You can come center, extend them out, up, whatever makes you happy. Think sinking into your hips without dropping your chest. Feel like your bum's sticking out, tuck your tailbone a little maybe. Keep what you've got, but come up on your toes. Balance. Stay on your toes. Extend to the ceiling. And then release it. And that's just fun. It doesn't mean anything. So let's go ahead and take a nice big step back with the left foot. So toes turn out just a little. Right? Again, you can check them as you move. We're going to inhale the arms up. And then exhale, bend the knees, sweep the mat. Inhale, come back up again. Hands come to center, squat. Right? Watch that knee ankle alignment. Inhale up. Exhale, brush the mat. Inhale back up again. Exhale into this squat. So when we squat, we want to tuck the butt under. But then when you're brushing the mat, let it stick out behind you back there. Slow, controlled movements with your breath. And if it feels like it's too easy, imagine you have weights in your hands or you're moving through drying cement. So let's do one more flow. And we're going to end in the squat, hands at center. Hold. Check out, make sure you can see your big toe. Sink into your hips. Squeeze your palms together for just a really, really long second. And then reach back up and release your arms. So turn your left toes in a little and your right toes toward the top of the mat. Bending into the knee, we'll move into warrior two. Oh my. Look for your big toe, so set your feet where you need it, extending the arms out. From here, arms can do what you need them to do. I'm gonna bring mine to center, you can hang on, whatever you need. We're gonna come up on the back toes and rotate the hips around into this upright lunge. Press through your heel, try to keep your upper body lifted. And again, the arms can be, I don't know, wherever you need them to be. From here, hands to the floor, hop in, unless you don't need to. If you just lift this back leg, we're working toward warrior three. So the hands can stay on the floor if they need to be. You can come up on the thigh, you can fly the arms. Upper body may be parallel to the floor, just like your left leg. Another big breath. Step way back into the lunge. Lifting the upper body. Back to your warrior two. And then release the arms and back to this straddle again. So same idea on the second side here. Adjust your feet. Maybe they're too wide, maybe they're too narrow, wherever you need them, right? So right toes in a little bit, left toes toward the back of the mat, bending into the knee. And then I'm going to pivot around. So hands go where they need. Sometimes I like the little balance bar, right? Sometimes coming closer to center is easier. So figure out where you need to be. Pivot around, upright lunge. Bring the hands to the mat. And hop in until you can lift this right foot away from the floor. Hip height. Just like when we're in hands and knees, try not to lift the leg too high because that tends to lift the hip. Keeping the hips square and finding whatever your warrior three needs to look like. One more breath. Back into that upright lunge. Warrior two. And then release the arms and back to your straddle. So bringing the hands to the hips, let's fold over into a half fold here. Hold on to the thighs for support if that's where you need to be. Protect your lower back, always, always. Make sure the belly is doing its job though too. And then the hands on the hips or the thighs as you come over into whatever your full fold looks like. Check in that the toes point forward. And then take your hands to the floor, even if you need to bend your knees. Sorry. We're going to come forward with the hands, walk forward, and let the hips come down. Let them come down lower than you would in like a plank. Right? Sink them down in there. And then walk the hands back into your straddle. Forward again. And then back. One more time. And then when you're back in your straddle, go ahead and instead of having the hands touch the floor with the fingers forward, rotate your thumbs outward so that your fingers point behind you. And they might not be all the way back there, but that direction. From there, bend knees are fine. Take your hands and walk them as far back as they'll go. And maybe you're happy to have them between your feet. Maybe you're happy to have them on the floor. If they reach 2, 3 feet behind you, great, whatever, right? And then you can kind of use the floor. Pull against the floor to see if you can draw your belly button more between the legs. Releasing that. Go ahead and walk your hands around to the right foot. And step back for a down dog. Dropping to the knees. Let's go back into that child's pose. And this one probably feels even better than either of the first two. All right. So from child's pose, onto all fours. Let's take the right hand palm up and weave it underneath. So whether you drop down to your elbow in the middle of the mat here, or whether you keep reaching to the left and drop the shoulder to the middle of the mat is up to you. Wherever you are, lean on the shoulder, not on your head. Notice if the hips stay over the knees or if they shift back or forward. That kind of gives you a clue as to where you want to be. And then holding here, maybe just using the floor to get a little bit bigger twist or not. Maybe lift the left leg. Can you lift your left hand? Can you bend your knee and find your foot? So sometimes you fall out. So what? Take a big breath. And gently release what you got. Coming back into that all fours. And then switching to the second side. So again, listen to your body. Maybe you start and you hang out in one place, or you don't add a certain thing, or you did on one side but you don't on the other. It's all good. Left hand reaches under, elbow or shoulder to the floor. Again, just finding where you're comfortable. And then adding in the balance piece if that's you on this side. And again, sometimes it works out and sometimes it does not. Try to move slowly and give your brain a chance to figure it out. Sometimes if you rush, it's like too late and you fall over. So one more breath where you are. And then go ahead and release all that. Make your way back to all fours. And then down into that child's pose again. Each child's pose just gets better and better. All right. So from this child's pose, go ahead and slide forward and come up onto your belly. Working with locust first. We're going to keep the toes on the floor. Turn the tailbone toward the heels. So in your brain, that lower body is your foundation, right? So as even as you can, up and down. Arms down by your sides or interlace behind your back. Pull the shoulders blades together on your back and curl your chest away from the floor. Let's release that. And then work with the lower body. So pillow for your head, forehead or chin to the pillow. Spread your toes nice and wide, extend the big toe toward the wall behind you, and lift your legs using your hamstrings at least as much as your glutes. Releasing that side. And then let's put it together. So arms down at your sides, interlace behind your back if you prefer. Tailbone tucked toward the heels. We're going to curl our chest away from the floor, extend through the big toe, and lift the legs. Releasing. Come on back down. And then working in bow. And if locust was more than you wanted, right? You can stay there or you can skip it, right? Or we basically, bend the knees, tuck the tailbone just like we did, grabbing the feet. And then curling the chest away from the floor, maybe lift the thighs, maybe rock a little. No, I know what's happening right now. Release what you got. Turn your toes toward each other, make that little pillow for your head again, and just a gentle rock back and forth on your hips. So simple here. Come to center and roll over onto your back. And yes, you have to adjust yourself back to your mat. Take just a quick second, aligning the spine against the floor. And then just release into it for a moment. Gently here, bend into the knees if they're not already, and draw your knees into your chest. Both feet flat to the floor. Left ankle crosses over right knee. Reaching back behind the right thigh, draw that leg in. Pull with the arms and press back into the hands with the legs. And then release it and switch sides. Right over left. Pulling the left leg in toward the chest. And then push into the hands with the leg. And then release it. So this time we're going to cross the legs, bringing the left leg over the right, but this time have your knees tight together. If you can wrap your left foot behind your right calf, it's kind of weird when you're not looking and it's backwards. Tuck that foot behind the calf if that's you. Open the arms out into a T position, and then just drop your legs over to the right. Tuck the left foot underneath if it's not behind the calf, if it's kind of getting in the way a little bit. Tuck it as much as you can. Bring that back to center and keep your legs crossed. Same way. Drop the legs over to the left. Come on back to the middle. And then switch. Cross the right over left. Again, knees as tight as you can get them. Wrapping the foot behind the calf if that's you. The arms are still open into the T. This time we drop over to the left to begin. Back to center. Over to the right. Coming back to center again. Uncross the feet, or the knees. Hugging the knees back to the chest. Little rock. And then squeeze in really tight. Pull the forehead toward the knees, give yourself a hug. Release the hug into your full body stretch. And then release your stretch and find Shavasana. Whatever that looks like today, just take a moment to align the body. Release the muscles. Release control of your breath. And the work is to keep the mind quiet and present. Just allowing yourself to rest, mind and body. You can shavasana longer if you prefer. You're ready. Keeping your mind quiet, eyes closed maybe. Begin to wiggle, stretch, deepen the breath. And slowly make your way up to a seated position. Sitting well. Bringing the palms to touch. Bowing savasana again. Namaste. Better? Yoga always makes things at least better for the moment, right? So, try and keep that chill for the rest of the weekend. It is hot out there. Well, probably where you are. And hopefully, where you are, you can go outside and actually breathe. So, right? All right, y'all. Have a great weekend, and I will see you next time. Thank you.